Love this guy. He's been on the show many, many times. The show is on my house, on a television in my house, literally like it's the sports version of Law and Order, quite frankly. Like it's on all the time. It's on somewhere on some NBC family of networks. And season 13 of NBC's American Ninja Warrior premieres on Memorial Day night at 8 Eastern time, every single Monday after that for a new episode at 8 Eastern and Pacific. And you can catch up on past episodes of American Ninja Warrior on Peacock. Back here on the Rich Eisen Show, Matt Iseman. How are you, Matt?
Oh, Rich, I am sitting here with the biggest smile on my face after listening to that 30 for 30. Honestly, that is going to go down like the synchronized swimming sketch from Saturday Night Live in my book. Just one of those ones that I could watch again and again, find new reasons to laugh every time.
I mean, Akbar's first pitch is our fake 30 for 30 because, I mean, seriously, he made 50 Cent look like Nolan Ryan. I mean,
Rich, you know what it's like, too. When you work with NFL players, they constantly remind you they were NFL players and you weren't. And I get that nonstop from him. So to see him in his athletic glory captured for all of time to remember, that one gave me joy.
It's similar to, I guess, falling into some sort of water, falling off one of the many constructs on your show and just face planting, except, this is far more embarrassing because at least because you're expected to have some sort of physical prowess and then you come up about 50 feet short. That is,
I nearly killed the fanatic. I mean, it was something out of Bull Durham where he's hitting the mascot to send a message, but no one knows what that message was.
It's kind of like, because I know you know comedy and you know late night television, Matt, so it would be similar to, I guess, an American Ninja Warrior getting ready to climb that last wall, that big run up to the last wall, to climb up that wall and then obviously stop the clock and win, right? And hit the button to win. It would be similar to that David Letterman moment where he jumped on the wall in his Velcro suit and just attached to the wall. Like that would be that slapstick
Super
moment.
Dave Osborne would have been proud of Akbar's performance right there.
The great Super Dave Osborne. I forgot about that one, man. How are you doing, Matt? How's life for you? Everything good?
Doing great. We just got back. We were in Las Vegas, just wrapping up the season out there. And it was so nice to be back in Vegas. And for the first time in a couple of years, we started to have fans in the stands.
That's great.
And it's nice to feel a little bit like the way things were. So I'm still riding on cloud nine from that.
So this season, the age limit to compete has been lowered to 15 years old. So now my kids are going to start watching it thinking that they're close. They're getting close. They're getting close to being in the big one as opposed to the junior competition that they imagine they could maybe get in one day.
And that's it. So now, age, it was 9 to 14 on American Ninja Warrior Junior.
Right.
Because they were so good on that show, we thought we're going to let a couple of them take a shot on our big course this season. And Rich, they've blown us away. I mean, we knew they had some athletic ability. We've seen them in their videos. We've seen them tackling obstacles. But what we didn't know is how they would handle being on the big stage with the lights at their brightest, with $1 million on the line. Would they rise or would they just crumble? And thinking back to when I was a high school sophomore, Akbar and I were talking about this. If you'd had a chance to play in the league at that point, to go to the NBA or NFL,
right?
There was no way you were ready physically, but certainly emotionally. And these athletes have been outstanding. They have been so strong. And they're out there. We're like, okay, first of all, it's past your bedtime. Second of all, you should be doing algebra homework. And third, you are absolutely crushing this. So it's been exciting to see the young bloods coming on there and to feel like, it's really a reinfusion now, this new energy coming into the show. But my God, do I feel old, Rich?
Do you got a new obstacle, new part of a course? What do you got for me?
We always have a slew of new obstacles, but one of the things we did this year was it's called split decision. So there's an obstacle where in the course the ninjas get there and they have a choice. It could be a choice between two different types of balance obstacles, maybe an upper body obstacle or a balance obstacle, but it becomes choose your own adventure. And what's interesting is ninjas may have different skill sets. If you're a little bigger guy, you may think, I'm not going to do upper body, I'll try balance. So we're seeing the ninjas now really take their fate into their own hands, because before it's always been, hey, just face whatever's out there and keep going. But now you have to have a little bit of strategy here, choosing which obstacle you'll think you'll be successful in. And as soon as people hit the water on that one, you see them going, I chose poorly. Instant regret.
Now, help me out with this. Matt Iseman here on the Rich Eisen Show. American Ninja Warrior returns for season 13 coming up in 6 days. So Memorial Day night, make sure you make a note on NBC at 8 Eastern time. I don't want to stir any problems up in your workplace, Matt. This is my wind up. This is my wind up.
What a setup.
This is my wind up. This is my wind up. But do the producers who come up with these obstacles, do they have a problem? Do they literally like seeing people squirm? What is going on here? Because how do they come up with some of this stuff, man?
Well, what's insane is we come up with these obstacles, and very often they'll send us videos in testing of the obstacles as they're kind of going through iterations. And every time I look at an obstacle, I think, how is anyone going to ever get through this? And what's amazing is watching these athletes, because, again, for those who aren't familiar with the show, they don't know what they're going to face until they show up on our course. They don't get to practice. You get one shot on these obstacles. So not only do they have no idea what they're facing or how to do it, they don't even know what it feels like or how much strength it's going to require. So to see the problem-solving ability, because we keep upping the difficulty and we think no one's getting through this course. And then one person gets through it, and it's like the when they figure out how to use a stick to get the ants out of the hole, like all of a sudden everyone starts emulating it. Success begets success, and all of a sudden we think, all right, we got to come up with a harder course because these guys are figuring it out.
I know, and then it's kind of like the NFL where before they make a rule change, they try to figure out what the unintended consequence is going to be.
That's it.
And
it is an arms race, and we are losing. The ninjas are constantly beating us.
It's funny too because again, watching it with my kids, they get invested when we meet one of the ninjas up close and personal, to use the old sports TV phrase, right? And we learn about their journey, and then their parents are there watching, and then they're cheering on, and then you're rooting for this person, and they literally eat it within the first 10 seconds. Oh. And I feel like I feel like maybe we're being done dirty,
My mom will call me after an episode and go, why did you make me care about that person if you knew he was going to fall? Like, I'm sorry, Mom. That's kind of how it works here.
My kids are like that too. They're like, what the hell was that? Like they kind of want to.
It is. It's funny. It's always tough because we get to know these athletes. This is season 13. I've seen these people. Some of them, get married, have kids, and watch these families grow. You know how much it means to them. And when they fall, you're heartbroken. But you also know that's why it matters so much. That's why it means so much when they do hit a buzzer, when they do well, because they've fallen, because they've come up short before. And it's the stakes. It's that idea if you get one chance at this, and especially heading into the Olympic year when, we talk about if you're an NFL player, man, you don't win a Super Bowl. Okay, but you probably have like a 7-8 figure salary to go home to. For these ninjas, this is it. This is something they train for with such passion. They dedicate so much of their lives to it. And so when they come up short, you know how much it stings. But when they do well, you see the joy, and it's awesome where you realize this is a moment. This is a moment they'll remember for the rest of their lives. When they're old and gray, they'll think back. I remember when I did that and how good it felt. And it's awesome to get to see people have those moments, those life-changing moments.
Matt Iseman here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, Matt, you're from Denver, Colorado. Are you expecting Aaron Rodgers in just a couple weeks?
Okay.
Or what do you got
so
for me?
We've been given lots of hints. Deshaun Watson, we thought it was a landing spot.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers would be great. I know Drew Lock. We're hoping for the Josh Allen, turnaround in year 3, but I don't know. And Aaron Rodgers. Rich, this boggles my mind that this guy just threw that grenade right back at him after they gave him Jordan Love the year before. But if the Broncos can get him on there, because with Mahomes and Justin Herbert in the Chargers, the AFC West, we need a QB to have a fighting chance.
Yeah, you could use that firepower in the AFC West, no question about it. And I love that you said the Josh Allen turnaround in a way would be quite something for Drew Lock. Yeah, I know so many Broncos fans that are like, what do you think? Do you think it's possible? Do you think this could possibly happen? And, if it does happen, it would have to happen in kind of like the next couple of weeks. Like, literally, this is where the rubber would meet the road on that.
It's when Peyton Manning came in and brought us our third Super Bowl, that felt like a gift. And, now I don't want to get selfish and see it happen again, but if Rodgers wants to come, give it one more shot for a ring, man, I think he'd look good in the orange and blue.
I know. And so, Jokic, we should get him on your course. We should get him out there. Don't you think?
What an athlete!
Don't you think he would be? You would be great.
Yeah, I think he's. Those long-limbed basketball players tend to struggle, but I would love to see him on there. I mean, what he's been doing in the league at still a relatively young age, he is an insane athlete, and it's good because, man, it feels like since Mutombo was on the Nuggets, since we've really had anything to cheer about back in the 90s.
What do you think he would make on his split decision on an American Ninja Warrior course?
I think he would just, you see him jump. I think he would probably just go try to leap over the entire obstacle and then come up about halfway and realize, you know what, I'm a shooter, not a dunker.
Yeah. Maybe we should get Mickelson out there in age 50 and over. Let's get Mickelson out there. Let's go.
What is Phil drinking? I want his fountain of youth because when he's driving 366 and out driving DeChambeau at 50,
yeah.
I tell you what, I'm going out to the course this weekend and I'm swinging as hard as I can because Phil has given me hope.
You turned 50 in January, right, Matt?
I did, and I listen. If I hit it over 200 yards and it doesn't snap hook into another fairway, I feel like a victory.
I think whatever he's drinking is giving him the George Hamilton tan too. I mean, he's really working it. With the shades on, giving everybody a thumbs up. Like when he was walking through that crowd, literally. Now that I've hit 50, I don't want to be bothered. You know what I mean? Like I just stay. I need some. Just keep your distance. He's just like thumbs up, point, thumbs up, in his shades, and with his George Hamilton tan. I don't know what the hell's happened to him. It's amazing.
But I like it because you remember before he won a major, for like the first 8-10 years of his career, it was just this kind of shadow of living in Tiger's shadow.
Right.
And now Phil is really coming to his own, and he seems to be enjoying it. And I think all of us, when we start to see guys like Rory and JT or Colin Morikawa, who are just these tiny guys who bomb it, impossibly flexible. It's nice to see someone who looks a little bit more like us old folks.
Of course. No, and at the same way, look, I love Brady and TB12, and it looks like Aaron Rodgers is on the AR12 and all of that stuff. But, Phil is like, I can relate there because you're talking about, again, when he was dueling with Tiger back in the, early aughts, and I was on SportsCenter back then, and we were talking about Tiger going on the run, and Phil was the guy who was the greatest player to not yet win a major, and now he's a guy at age 50 who's the first 50-year-old to win a major, and I'm now inspired by the way he's taking care of his body. You could knock me over with a feather with that thing being actually the
Rich,
case.
I think we're gonna. This means we're gonna see you getting down to around a 4.540.
Yes, sir.
Is really what I'm reading from this.
No question.
Bingo.
If I show up next year, all right, if I show up next year at the combine, right, or whenever I'm going to run it, and I've got the George Hamilton tan and I got the shades on, I'm about to go torch it. I'm going to torch it. Thumbs up and torch it. Like thumbs up and point and just
like the Fonz. Just
out like the Fonz, like the Fonz.
We will all vicariously feel the victory, Rich, when you do that.
I appreciate that. I do run for people. I do run like Phil as a man of the people. You know what I mean? That's the way I go about it. Matt, thanks for the time. Congrats on season 13.
Rich,
Holy cow.
You're always very kind. I really appreciate it, Rich. It means a lot.
Oh my gosh. Thank you again, my kids. We will be watching. We will be watching, and then I'll be walking in like 3 days later. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You've watched this 10 times already on DVR. And honestly, that is constantly happening in my household.
Kids are giving Matt Iseman job security, and I appreciate that.
Oh, my God. Your +7 rating from my kids 7 to 12. They're personally responsible for upping that +7 rating. Thanks for the call, Matt. You take care of yourself.
Always, Rich.
You bet. That's Matt Iseman of American Ninja Warrior. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.